Hello everybody, Gena Kirby here with Progressive Parenting Radio at the APPPAH Congress. It has been amazing. And I'm here with Marilyn Milos of NoCirc.com.
NoCirc.com.
I want to make sure I get
No,
.org.
right.
.org, darn it,
Sorry.
I knew it. I knew it was one or the other. NoCirc.org. And I just had one question for you.
Okay.
As doulas, we're with the parents during a very amazing time in their life, and they have a lot of questions for us. And a lot of parents will ask, well, what about circumcision? What do you think? And there's a lot of schools of thought out there about, like, well, you shouldn't say anything, or you should say something. And I think a lot of doulas are torn as to what they should or shouldn't say. What would be the best way to broach that topic for people?
First of all, I think everybody needs to say something. It's crucial that we say something. If no one else is speaking about the baby, we have to be. Somebody has to speak up for the baby. So for me, it's basically.
I need a chair for the table. Somebody stole my chair that was over there.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, sorry.
Somebody should speak.
Yeah, well, now it's just, okay, so, but what I usually do, because I've got circumcised sons, is to say, may I give you some information that I wish someone had told me before I had babies, and before my sons were circumcised. But I think once people know that circumcision began in the English-speaking countries to prevent masturbation, that most of the world has never done it. Today, only the Jews and Muslims and the North Americans are doing it, and most of the world does not do it. And that it's okay not to do it, and that the circumcision rate in America is dropping, then they're more inclined not to do it. But mostly, if we think about the baby, what happens when they strap the baby down to do something that's so devastating to that child, it affects the baby, and it affects the baby for life. And not only does he have immediate wounding, he has lifetime wounding. So if we want our babies to be healthy and happy, we need to love and protect them and respect their bodies, and let them make that personal choice for themselves. It's not our right to make that choice. And I think parents, we can say that to parents without offending them if we just give them facts. But we must give them facts, because without the facts, then silence is complicit. And we're complicit if we don't say something. So there are ways to say it. You don't have to say, "Oh, you shouldn't do this," and blah blah blah.
Or shame anyone.
Or shame anybody,
right.
Or make anybody feel guilty. And why it's so difficult is because some parents already have a circumcised son, and so we have to be careful not to bring guilt up into them,
right.
But mostly to say to them, well, I can say I made this mistake because I didn't know better, and when we know better, we do better.
Right.
So we need to give the information to the parents first.
And then just a follow-up question, because this happens a lot, when you're talking about what happens to the baby, lifelong effects. Well, what about the partner who's been circumcised and says, well, I'm okay. I'm just fine.
Yeah, well, and men think they are. Women in Africa say the same things, even though they don't have a clitoris and that their labia have been cut off and sewn together, and they say there's nothing wrong with me. That's a cultural reaction, or it's denial. Circumcision is in the body forever. Even if a man doesn't know it. For me, it's to say to the woman, if it's up the mother's job to protect that baby. If the mother doesn't protect it, the circumcision is perceived by the baby as betrayal by the mother. It's her job to hold and love and protect that baby, make sure nothing traumatic happens to the baby. And we know that circumcision is traumatic for the baby. Babies being circumcised at 4 and 6 months old respond differently to vaccinations than intact girls and intact boys. So and the researchers who did that study recognized that the reaction is equivalent or looks like post-traumatic stress disorder. So we don't want babies to start their life with post-traumatic stress disorder. We want them to grow up to be loving and compassionate and empathetic human beings. Circumcision isn't a way to do that.
Wow, it's such a rough thing, though. When you talk about the betrayal of the mother, and like, what is that for a mom who's who made that choice, and then she's got to go, and then the first reaction is to be like, I don't want to hear about this. You're probably wrong.
That's right. This is what makes circumcision so difficult to discuss. What man wants to learn that he was strapped down and without an anesthetic, the most sensitive part of his organ of pleasure, his organ of pleasure and procreation, was violated when he was too little to consent, resist, or escape? What mother wants to learn that her baby suffered needlessly? And what doctor wants to admit he's got blood on his hands? But men and many doctors have said, oh, no man has ever complained about circumcision. Well, men have begun to complain, and they're called the blood-stained men, and they stand up with a white
I've seen them,
white outfit and a red splotch over the crotch. And they're saying, this happened to me, this ends with us. We've got to end this. So the only way it's going to end, and I can tell you, when I first began my work 36 years ago, I spent a whole day crying all day long, thinking, nobody wants to hear this. What am I going to do?
So hard
and
to
by
talk
the end of the day, I just lifted my head up and I said, it doesn't matter whether people want to hear it or not, I'm going to keep talking, because the only way it's going to stop is when people hear about it and learn. And it may not be easy, and people may not hear you the first time. They may not hear you the second time, or even the 30th time. But one day they will. One day they will hear you. So we have to start. And even if remember, Gandhi taught us all truth goes through through stages of acceptance. So first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. So when someone responds to you negatively, instead of taking it personally, so you can keep on going, where are they in the process of getting it? And it may not be from you. It may be the next time they hear it, or the one after that. But each of us will one day get it, because we have right on our side. It's important to protect our babies.
And you can advocate kindly.
Absolutely, and you have to. We must. And even if you're kind, people are still going to have their reactions,
that's okay.
And we can't do anything about that. But what we can do is not be complicit in our silence. By being silent, we must speak out. And people get better. That will get better. The more you speak out, the better you get at it.
So true. Thank you. Thank you for your
It's
time.
it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. Really.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.
Is that okay?
Oh, it's beautiful. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks.